Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, We Are Healing. My name is Kara. I'm very new to this, so bear with me please. This is going to be kind of an introduction video. But basically I just wanted to start making videos for people to be able to relate. Currently I'm working through a lot of stuff, a lot of trauma and stuff like that. A lot of medical issues that I've been dealing with, a lot of stress and stuff like that. And I find that it is very helpful when you can find other people who post videos or on TikTok or whatever, who post about those things, because it helps people to, for one, see that they're not the only one who is struggling and they're not the only one who has felt certain ways, because a lot of times, especially I've been there, we start to think that maybe we're just losing our minds, we're crazy for thinking the things that we think or feel. That's not the case. And I think, at least for me, it's helped a lot to see and relate to other people who have been through similar things, and to see how they get through it or how they manage it or whatever. That kind of thing is really nice to see because it helps you to relate. So that's kind of my goal here. I want this to be as raw and unedited as possible. I think it's really important in this day and age that we steer away from all of this fakeness, trying to act like our lives are so great and, trying to make videos about ourselves and stuff, looking our best, feeling our best, and a lot of times that's just surface. A lot of times that's just an act. And I want this to be real and raw. So my intention is to try to not make any like crazy edits or anything like that. I mean, if there's situations where I gotta like crop something out of a video because I was walked away for a while or something, I'll take that out. But everything else, I just want it to be as raw and unedited as possible for two reasons. One, the reason I already said, that I think we need more rawness out there. And two, I suck at this. I'm not gonna lie, this is so new to me, I don't know what I'm doing. But I figured I'd just go for it because a lot of us need to just go for it. If you have something that you think about often that you want to do and you just don't do it because you're kind of like maybe afraid or don't know how to do it or whatever, just go for it. Just go for it. Worst you can do is fail. And in my eyes, if you tried, you didn't really fail. But anyway, introduction to me and who I am and what this is about. So as I said, my name is Kara. I'm a 30-year-old single parent. I live in not the greatest neighborhood. I'm in the Midwest. I have a 11-year-old boy who is the light of my life. I don't know where I'd be without him. He changed my life. And I truly mean that with every single bit of my being. I don't know where I'd be right now if he did not enter this world with me. I like to do a lot of different things. I'm very introverted, but very extroverted. So wintertime, I kind of stay in my house, and summertime, I just want to be outside. So I do a lot of art of a lot of different types. I paint, I make dream catchers, I build things like this cage behind me. I love pets. I have pets, lots of pets. I have 2 lizards. I have one that's a bearded dragon, which is this guy. He's got an 8-foot cage by 3 feet high. Then I have a crested gecko. He is in a cage I built as well. And then I also have another cage next to his cage that needs to be finished, that I was building because he lost his tail. And I think it might be because he kind of was outgrowing his cage. I have 2 cats, a rabbit. My son's got a hamster. And is that all of them? I think that's all of them. But I've had many animals. I've had many snakes. I've had many different types of frogs. I had fire-bellied toads, tree frogs, Pac-Man frog, tadpoles that we'd bring home from up north when I was a kid and watch them change. I had 2 turtles. I had 2 chinchillas. I had... Oh boy, I don't know. I've had a lot of pets. I love animals. I have thought about going back to school for veterinary stuff because I would love to be an exotic animal rescue. But I also like a lot of art. Like I said, I do a lot of painting, drawing, dream catchers. I like to play with clay, puzzles, writing, And then for work, I am a independent contractor. I do my own remodels. I had my own business, but long story short, I have to get a new LLC. Um, but I do mainly tile work and painting, interior and exterior painting, and mainly anything tile. So that goes like from full scope, full bath gut remodel, doing all the drywall, installing a new sink, a top, a vanity, all of that. Like I do the whole scope, but I primarily focus on tile and paint. Before that, I was a banker, and I went from a banker to painter overnight because I made a really silly mistake that I have learned from greatly. It's definitely a great life lesson. I'll talk about that another time. Let's see what else. I do have a lot of medical issues that I deal with, and this past year has been very rough. I had surgery after being sick repeatedly with like infections like back to back to back. I ended up having a tonsillectomy and adenoidectomy, and that was hell as an adult. It is awful, which maybe I'll talk about that too in a different one. I don't know. Let's see. I also have quote unquote fibromyalgia. I think it's actually Ehlers-Danlos. I'm being tested for it. I have ADHD, CPTSD, PTSD, and anxiety and depression. But I've been trying to handle it all pretty well. The biggest struggle I've been having lately is ADHD. I'm late diagnosed. I've been medicated for a long time, but the medications are just not working the way that they need to. So I'm still working on that. But the biggest thing I'm doing right now is working through trauma. And I just want to put it out there that if you have ever thought about seeing a therapist, just do it. And you may not like the first one you see, or the second one, or the third, but you will find one that works for you. I am so happy for the therapist I have. Let's see, what else? I don't know. Just ask me. I've got nothing but information to give, I guess. I just want to share anything I can with people to help you grow. And I'm growing too. I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm some prophet, but I think we all need to come together when it comes to this. It's nice to have a community of people that you can relate to, talk to, and that understand you. And so you don't feel so discouraged or to feel so self-conscious, because we're all feeling these things. So I just want anybody out there who is struggling or who has struggled and found their way out to share their experiences. Ask me questions. Anything you want to ask. I'm a very open person. I talk about anything that you want to talk about. I'm very open. I'm very honest. And I don't mean honest in the same way that some people mean it, where they're like, I'm just blunt and honest. No, that's an excuse to be an ass, but I am honest. So ask me anything you want to ask me. If I bring up a topic that you want more information on, let me know. If I bring up a situation I've gone through and you want to hear more about it, let me know. I'm not very sensitive when it comes to that. Like, if people are asking for things, like, they are asking for a reason. And why wouldn't I share? I'm not embarrassed of who I am. And let me reiterate that, because in a sense I am. We all kind of have that little feeling of embarrassment over ourselves sometimes. But what I mean is that my integrity and honesty is more important than my embarrassment, than protecting myself from being embarrassed. So say I'm talking about a sensitive situation I've gone through and you have more questions or something, please feel free. The only thing that I will ask is that nobody leaves anything negative on here. If you do, I'm going to simply block you right away. This is a place for positivity, for growth, and I know I said positivity, but it kind of contradicts the fact that we're talking about healing, which the healing part is positive, but the trauma is probably negative. So we're still going to be having some negative talk, obviously, but it's not negative towards anybody. So again, anything negative, I'm going to erase and block right away. Simple as that. I only want people here who are here for their best interest and to kind of learn other people's experiences to help themselves maybe. There's a lot of techniques and things that I've learned throughout the processes of healing. And I've been through a lot of trauma. I've been through a lot of abuse. And although I thought I healed it and was handling it pretty well, I was doing pretty well for not having a therapist. But there was so much more. There was so much more that was affecting me from my trauma that I didn't realize. And that's the important thing to know here. One of the biggest things I want everybody to understand is that there is no competition with who's had it worse. You could be in a there are people, yes, that have had it, undeniably worse than ourselves, right? But that's not the point. The point is that anything that everybody goes through, it's all about how it affects you. So you could go through something that in my eyes may not seem very traumatic, but it could affect you just as bad as the trauma that I experienced that was much greater, if I'm explaining that properly, because I don't want to say that my trauma was much greater, but like when you look at it from an outside perspective, sometimes you kind of wonder, like, or you notice, like, oh wow, that's bad, that's real bad, that's worse than what I've gone through. And then I feel like it deters that person from wanting to talk about their experience because they feel that they shouldn't be traumatized by what they experienced because they're hearing something from somebody else who went through something so much worse. But that's not the case. Like I said, our traumas, they're not comparable. We should not be comparing how severe they are. We should just be talking about our emotions and how it affected us and how we can get through it and how we can work through it. Now, one of the biggest things I've done throughout my whole life is I've journaled. Journaling is a staple in my life. And when I don't journal, I notice that my brain kind of starts to spiral. If you're anything like me, if you have ADHD and you overthink, journaling is amazing. It may be hard to do, and a lot of times, don't get me wrong, I gotta force myself to do it, but that's part of it, that's part of the healing. We have to force ourselves to do the things that we're not comfortable with doing, which means force ourselves to write about things that maybe we're not comfortable with writing, or anything. That's just an example. So I've been writing for years. I have many, many journals. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 just in this vicinity of mine. I've done it since I was a kid, and I think it's a very important thing to do. I didn't have a safe place to go to talk to anybody about how I was feeling or thinking. And going through what I went through as a child, I needed a place to talk about those things, and I didn't have it. And when I would try to talk about those things, I was punished for it. So journaling was my place to go. And I will say, I had to, at a point, reteach myself how to journal because it can be difficult. And the reason I say that is because when I was younger and I was writing, my mom had taken my journal once and read it. And then I was punished for the things that I wrote. And then she kept the journal. And that was my one safe place. That was the only place that I could be my authentic self and try to work through my feelings, and my privacy was totally violated. That happened to me twice. And that's just with my parents. Now, relationships, I've also had it happen. So because of this, I've made it a very strict rule that if I'm in a relationship, you do not read my journal unless I give it to you and I say, hey, you can read this if you want. But you do not open it. That is my safe place. And I feel that everybody should have that. Everybody deserves one safe place that is totally theirs and nobody can violate it. That's my opinion. I did start to try to get a little smarter about it, and I started carrying my journal with me everywhere, and one day I forgot it at home. And guess what? My grandma grabbed it, read it, showed my mom, got in trouble again. So from then on, I had a hard time writing authentically. I noticed that every time I'd go to pull my journal out, I was wondering what I could and couldn't write because I was afraid of what they would see. Inevitably, in my mind, I just said to myself, they're going to read it. So I can't write everything I want to feel. So for a while, I had a hard time with that. It was hard to just write, even when I was out on my own, because I was afraid of people finding it. So I just really recommend that writing is a big relief and that you should try it. Journaling is so big, and I know some people like to feel judged when they journal. Like, oh, what, you have a diary? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I get kind of annoyed when people are like, oh, your diary. I'm gonna say that right now. I get annoyed because that makes me sound like a little girl. I'm an adult, okay? It's a journal. But anyway, that is one of the things that I do that is a staple in my mental health. And if it can, maybe it can help you guys. I mean, it's hard sometimes, like I said, but it's so beneficial. There is so much I've worked through and learned by writing. Be you, be authentic. Don't care what anybody else thinks. Don't even let yourself notice anytime you start to think like, oh, should I write this? Notice when you say that in your head and ignore it. Learn to say, yes, I should write this because it's my place. It is my thoughts. It is what I want to write. I know I'm really beating the dead horse on this one, but I just find it so important. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask me. Yeah. Hold on. Some other hobbies I have are fishing. I love fishing. I've been a fishing lover since I was a kid. I like fishing. I like anything on the water, kayaking, paddleboarding. I go out paddleboarding pretty often. Well, as often as I can. I like to play catch with my kid, play sports, play baseball. I love volleyball. I was on a team, but I'm not now. I wish I was. I'm a huge rock nerd. My house is covered in rocks. I love to rock hound. I love the water. So, you know, we have Lake Michigan right here. I usually go down there. We find some cool rocks. I have way too many to even begin to tell you. Fossils are huge for me. I love them. And I kind of want to try to start doing some art with these rocks, polishing them up and making them pretty. So I got some stuff for that. What else do I like to do? I like to do yoga. Yoga is very, very good for your health, your mind, your body, strengthening, especially if you may be somebody who has others. It's important to strengthen the muscles and learn to support your body with your muscles rather than your joints. So that's something I've been learning and working on. Let's see what else. I am very into the energetics of life, meaning I'm into meditation. I'm into energies, tapping into that. I see auras. I'm working on doing better with that, but I can see auras. I can see my own aura. Let's see what else. What else? I like puzzles. I don't know if I said that. I got a big puzzle I'm working on right now. I like challenging stuff. And I like talking. But really, I just want to be here, meet some people, you know, connect with some people that maybe have gone through similar things, share my advice, have you share your advice, and let's do this together. Let's heal together. Let's help each other heal. So much of this world has helped each other have trauma. So let's do the opposite and let's help each other heal. Let's grow. Let's strengthen. Let's, you know, become this strong force that you know you are. Because I guarantee you inside there is a warrior that is just dying to come out. So let's do it. I'm going to sign out for now. I think the first video I'm going to talk about my brain spotting experience. If you've never experienced that or if never heard about that, check out the next video I'm going to post. I'll kind of explain my experience and what I understand of it from a scientific view. There's a lot that I don't understand quite yet about brain spotting, and I want to look into it. That is something about me. I like to do my research. So a lot of times if I say things on here, I try to make sure it's stuff that I know is factual. So I try not, if I say things, it's likely that I've looked into it. I think that's part of the ADHD. I just need to know how it works. Why? Why does this make sense? You know, I just need to know. So most of the time if I share information, it's because I've actually looked into it like in depth. So brain spotting, the video I'm going to make next, it's going to be more just kind of like what I know and understand of it now and my experience. And then maybe I'll make another video later when I learn a little bit more. But if you tuned in and you listened to me just talk about myself forever, I really appreciate you. I promise all my videos will not be like this. And one other thing I want to add in here really quickly is the experiences that I share and the traumas and struggles that I've gone through, I'm sharing them to relate. I'm not sharing because I need sympathy. I am not asking for that. I'm not asking for you to say, I'm so sorry you went through that, or that's horrible, or I don't need that. And I'm not saying I'm going to get mad if you guys do that, but I want you guys to know that I'm not looking for that. I'm looking to heal us all together at the same time. Let's do this together. I love y'all. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.